The Arctic does not care about ambition. It does not care about schedules, profit, or reputation. It does not care how experienced your crew is, how strong your hull is, or how carefully you charted your course. The Arctic waits, and when it decides to move, it moves slowly and without mercy. In October of 1931, a steel cargo steamer became trapped in pack ice near the northern coast of Alaska. There was no explosion, no mayday, no cinematic disaster, just ice and silence. The ship's name was the SS Baychimo, and what happened next would turn her into one of the most enduring maritime mysteries of the 20th century. Because unlike most abandoned vessels, she did not sink. She wandered for nearly 40 years. The Baychimo was not built as a legend. She was built in 1914 in Gothenburg, Sweden. Her original name was Ångermanälven. She was a steel-hulled steam cargo vessel, sturdy, practical, industrial. Not glamorous, not grand, just functional. Then came World War I. When the war ended, Germany was forced to surrender ships as reparations. The vessel was transferred to British ownership and eventually purchased by the Hudson's Bay Company, one of the oldest trading companies in the world. The Arctic fur trade was booming. Fox, mink, muskrat, pelts harvested from some of the coldest regions on Earth. The Baychimo became a supply ship and transport vessel, making seasonal voyages through Arctic waters to trading posts scattered across northern Canada and Alaska. Every year she braved ice-choked passages most captains avoided. And every year she returned. By 1931, she had already survived years of punishing northern voyages. But the Arctic has a way of reminding even experienced ships who is in control. October 1931. The Baychimo was completing one of her regular trading runs along the northern Alaskan coast. The cargo holds were filled with furs. 37 crew members were aboard. Then, near Point Barrow, the temperature dropped. The sea began to stiffen. Pack ice formed earlier than expected. Within days, the ship was surrounded. At first, this wasn't unusual. Arctic ships often became temporarily trapped. You waited for wind shifts, for currents, for pressure changes. But this time, the ice didn't loosen. It thickened. Sheets of frozen sea pressed against the hull. The ship groaned as steel met ice. The crew waited. Days passed, then weeks. Food was rationed carefully. Coal was monitored. Morale fluctuated. Then a blizzard hit. Winds howled across the frozen sea. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Snow erased the horizon. When the storm cleared, the Hudson's Bay Company made a difficult decision. Most of the crew would be evacuated by aircraft. A rare and dangerous operation in 1931. Planes landed on improvised ice runways. One by one, men were flown to safety. 15 remained behind. They believed the ship could still be freed. On November 24th, another powerful blizzard struck. The remaining crew sheltered away from the ship in a temporary ice camp. Wind screamed across the frozen landscape. Ice shifted violently in the darkness. For hours they could see nothing. When the storm finally subsided, the Baychimo was gone. Not broken, not partially visible, gone. The crew assumed the worst. The ice pressure must have crushed her hull. She must have slipped beneath the Arctic waters without ceremony. They salvaged what supplies they could and began preparing to travel south over the ice. Then something strange happened. Several days later, an Inuit hunter approached their camp. He had seen a ship drifting nearby. The men followed him, and there she was. The Baychimo had broken free. She was drifting through open leads in the ice, carried by wind and current. Not sunk, not destroyed, just moving. The crew managed to reach the drifting vessel. They boarded her once more. She had traveled roughly 45 miles from where she had vanished during the storm. Inside, there was no catastrophic damage, but the situation was unstable. The ice was unpredictable. The season was turning harsher. The decision was made. They would remove as much valuable cargo as possible. Then they would abandon her, this time for good. No captain remained. No skeleton crew. No watch rotation. The Baychimo was left to the Arctic. Most abandoned ships in those waters meet one of two fates. They are crushed, or they sink. The Baychimo did neither. In 1932, she was spotted again. Then again. Then again. Hunters reported seeing her drifting through frozen channels. Traders claimed to have passed her, silent and unmanned. In 1933, a group boarded her. They found her intact. The hull was still solid. The cargo holds partially emptied. Cabins abandoned but not destroyed. She looked like a ship paused in time. Over the years, she was sighted repeatedly. 1934, 1935, 1936. Each sighting told the same story. She was alone. No distress signals, no crew. Just a steel hull wandering through one of the most hostile environments on Earth. During World War II, she was reportedly seen drifting again. A relic from before the war, sliding silently through ice fields while the world burned elsewhere. Imagine encountering that. You're navigating the Arctic. The fog is low. The water is quiet. And suddenly, through the mist, an abandoned steamship appears. No movement on deck. No signal lamps. Just a vessel that should not still exist. The Baychimo was reinforced for icy conditions. Her steel hull was thick. The Arctic's freezing waters slow corrosion significantly. Unlike warmer oceans, where salt and oxygen eat through metal quickly, the extreme cold can preserve. Ice can destroy ships, but it can also cradle them. Pressure ridges shift and release. Open leads form unexpectedly. Wind changes direction. It's possible the Baychimo was simply fortunate, drifting through just enough open water to avoid catastrophic crushing. Or perhaps her hull design distributed pressure more effectively than expected. But luck in the Arctic is never permanent. The final confirmed sighting occurred in 1969, nearly 4 decades after she was abandoned. After that, silence. No confirmed wreckage has ever been found. In 2006, the government of Alaska even launched efforts to locate her remains. Nothing was discovered. She may lie beneath Arctic waters, finally crushed. She may rest trapped beneath shifting ice, undiscovered. Or she may have broken apart gradually, scattered across the seafloor. But for nearly 40 years, she drifted. There's something uniquely unsettling about an abandoned vessel that continues moving. A wreck at the bottom of the ocean feels final. A drifting ship feels intentional, as if something chose not to let it die. The Baychimo had no crew, no guiding hand, yet she appeared, disappeared, and reappeared across decades. To Arctic communities, she became something almost mythic. A wandering presence, a mechanical ghost. She wasn't violent, she wasn't curded. She simply refused to obey expectation. And sometimes that's more unsettling than tragedy. The Arctic remains vast, largely unmapped, unforgiving. Somewhere beneath shifting ice and freezing water, the steel hull of the Baychimo may still rest. Or perhaps she was slowly dismantled by time, piece by piece, until nothing recognizable remained. But for nearly 40 years after being abandoned, she endured. No crew, no purpose, no destination. Just wind, just current, just ice. And somewhere in the far north, when fog settles low over dark water, it's not impossible to imagine a silhouette still drifting between frozen horizons, still floating long after being abandoned, still wandering, silent, waiting.